What's going on, everybody? I'm trying to give you guys some content. I know I've been promising you a lot and I haven't been giving you any. I've been really busy. I've been working a lot. I actually just now got off work, just took a shower, but I got a new fuel pump sitting here, and I also have a new crankshaft position sensor sitting here. So I'm going to go ahead and go check out the car and see how easy of a time we're talking about here. If it looks really difficult, might have to wait till the weekend, but I'm going to go check it out and see what we're working with. Come on. Alright, so I found what I think the guilty one is. Let's see. I think that is the crankshaft position sensor right there. It looks like it is to me, and if I can get this camera to focus, there's a little nut to the right of it. You can see a stud coming to that. It focused there for a second. But you can see a stud popping up if you can get it in there on yours, and there's a nut on it. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and try right now. Alright, so I guess I should have told you guys why I think that's the same one. Actually, hold on. Where's the plug? Okay, the plug is on this side. So if we're sitting here looking at our sensor, this bag is a really poopy bag. I should have taken it out. Sorry, guys. But if we're sitting here looking at our sensor, we got our plug on this side, so that's where that nut and stud would be over here. So I think that's the one, and you know it's got to be down there by where your crankshaft is. It's definitely not, this guy up here. So let's take a crack at it. Alright, so check this out. I came over here on top of all these hoses right here, and this is a much better angle at that nut. Can you see it? Right here. That's what I'm talking about. So you could probably get a small extension down in there pretty easily. It looks like it might be either an 8mm or a 10mm. Don't grab something huge. It's something down there. It's like an 8, a 6, or a 10. Alright, so I take back one thing I said. You can get a huge extension in there if you're too lazy to grab your small one. So it's on there. It's a 10, and we're going to try to loosen it. There we go. Autofocus engage. The nut is out. I don't know how hard this is going to be to get out of here. Boom, pulled it right up out with one finger. Sweet. So, chaotic shake camera. Be gentle. Your shit's probably old like mine. This is all just flaking apart, so be gentle. You don't want to yank this wire out, then you're really screwed. Unless you know how to wire. But I'm going to set this down so that I can use two hands and unplug this, and I'm just going to plug my new one in. It looks the same visually. You can see it and compare them before you take it all apart. It's the same thing. I'm going to take mine apart, or I'm going to take mine and swap it. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I got this old one out, but it was a major pain in the ass. So I definitely recommend sticking your little flathead down in there. You got to get your smallest flathead, but there's this little recess right here, this hole. And when it's covered up, it looks about that big. So you got to get a screwdriver down in there, pry that up. It's a major pain, just like the movie. Don't rip your wires out. There's your new one. Let's see if I can plug it in with one hand. Not quite all the way. Is that all the way in? Look at that, I think I did it. Sweet. Okay. Oops. Wow, my elbow rest fell over. And now I'm twisting my wires all up. I don't know how I took it out of here. Must have been like this. And I know I could do things to get stuff out of my way here, guys, but I'm trying to do as little as possible because I just got off work. And I'm sure you guys probably are trying to do as little as possible too, which is why you're looking up a YouTube video. Alright, I'm going to put you guys down, try to get it in the hole, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, I got it back where it needs to be. You can see the stud popping up right through the middle of it. Now is going to be the struggle of getting the nut back onto that stud. So I don't think the pliers are going to do it. I'm going to go find a tool that'll work better. And if I have it, you guys probably have it too. Alright, so this is going to be my solution for you guys. I found a smaller screwdriver that's going to get down in there easier. And actually, this might be too short with that magnet on there, so I might have to switch back to the big guy. But I got this magnet on here. I do happen to have a rare earth magnet. They're really strong. I hope you guys have something nearly as strong. But if you do, your nut will stay in there just fine. So I'm going to give this a whack, and if it goes on there easily, you guys will know. Alright, if you guys are trying to do it like me, or you're doing as little as possible, removing as little as possible, you're going to have a hell of a time with this. So be patient. That's my best word of advice. Have a lot of patience. Boom, there's a good look at it. That's the angle you guys have been waiting for. There's the nut, it's on the stud. Plug is clipped in. We're good to go. Now onto the fuel pump. Alright, so check this out, guys. We lucked out. Another reason to convince your friends to buy an S60. We got it easy. Right here is access to our fuel pump. We have 4 nuts on studs just like our sensor. It looks like they're probably the exact same size. And my guess is when we pop that guy off, we're probably going to see the top of our fuel pump assembly. Which, just to give you guys a better visual, some of you already know all this, some of you don't. Alright, so this is our fuel pump assembly right here. And my guess is going to be that when we pop that off, that metal plate you guys saw, this is going to be underneath it with some sort of plastic locking ring or something. We'll see when I actually get it off, but this is what it looks like, our new assembly. And it does have this. I've done one in a fuel, or I've done one fuel pump before, and it was in a Ford, or not a Ford. It was in a Range Rover. Why the hell would I say Ford? It was in a Range Rover, and it didn't have all that. So we'll see what the differences are. All right, so I got it off. The impact made short work of it. They are 10 mils, and as I suspected, this is disgusting. I didn't suspect that, but I mean, this is outside of my car, so I guess I should have assumed that. I'm gonna grab a paper towel and clean all this up, but just as I suspected, there's our black plastic ring. It's all wrapped up. So you take like a hammer and a screwdriver, you get it over from this side, you chisel on it, and it moves it along, because that's loosening it, and then when you go to tighten it back up, you don't really need to do it with the hammer. That's excessive if you ask me, but you know, you'd be going the opposite way. You'd be going from this side to tighten it, this side to loosen it. Alright guys, I'm going to take a quick break real quick. I can't quite figure out how to get that apart and get that out of there. I really don't want to break my car, so I have a Haynes manual and I also have Vita, so if it's not in here, I know it's in Vita. I'm going to figure it out and I will get it back to you guys because I want to take a break and eat that. Oh yeah. Alright, so check this out. Here we got our Haynes manual, and we can see we have actually 2 locations that we have to access. This is the one we're already in right now, and unfortunately it looks like we gotta take the back seats out, so that's gonna be a total pain in the ass. But I don't think we have to take all of them out like they did here. I'm gonna try to get away with just removing some stuff over here. We'll see what we can do. So the top of our fuel pump is gonna be in this one right here. That's what we see here. Boom, that's that side. So the other side is just a little yellow plastic cap. And then they have this like super janky specialty tool here. So we're gonna try to replicate this probably with a piece of wood, a couple drilled holes, and a couple bolts. So yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not too hard, aside from I think removing the back seats is going to be our biggest job here, because I mean, it's only got like really half a page dedicated to it, and then we're out and we're putting it back in, lining stuff up and putting it back together. Okay guys, get ready to deal with some frustration. This thing right here is the biggest pain in the ass to get off. Grab this thing with both hands on the top and yank it straight forward as hard as you can. That's how you do that. And then there's a super long one down there, so this should pull up now. There we go. Thank goodness. Now that is off, and check it out. Here is the bolt we need to access. I don't remember seeing that plug in front of it on the Haynes manual, but it looks like there's a little clip there to pull it out. Alright, so yep, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to pull this plastic clip out of the bottom, get that out of the way so we're not breaking anything, and then get that on there, pull that out. Hopefully we only have to remove this one side because there's no reason to have to access anything behind this seat. So wish me luck, because then that'll be good luck for you too. Alright guys, here we go. So I got the clip out of the way, I unplugged this. This was a 14mm. You get that out, your seat will lift up. Excuse me, your seat will lift up off of there. Move that forward, and this side, I believe, just like the C30, should just be a plastic, like little pin sticking in there. I think it is. I'm gonna try yanking and see. Hopefully it is. All right. So once again, as I suspected, there was just a little plastic push pin in there. So that's pried into this hole pretty well. What I did, you guys probably still have the plastic piece on your seat. I broke mine off on purpose, but I grabbed this right here and I gave it a good yanking. So get that out of your way, and we definitely won't need to take the whole seat off, just this one side. So there's our other four, just like that side. Do the same thing, and then we're gonna go make a specialty tool. All right, so I got this faceplate off as well. There we can see we have access to our fuel pump. That's where probably where that long hose goes. Runs over there, probably plugs into the fuel level sender or whatever. I don't know what it is, but that's probably what that is for. So now that I got this all taken apart, I am gonna disconnect the battery now that I know for sure that this is something I can do without dropping the tank. Disconnect your battery for sure, and I'm gonna disconnect mine, probably take like another 10-minute break because I want it to cool down a little bit. It's really hot out here. But yep, make sure you disconnect your battery, guys, for sure. Alright, well, while I'm inside cooling down, we can check out this fuel pump assembly. Now, the first thing I noticed that's kind of cool is this is running a dual pump setup from the factory. That's kind of cool. Some of you probably know that and are like, that's obvious, but I didn't know that. And I think that's pretty cool. Most manufacturers don't do that. And they look like they are pretty decent size, probably about, I don't know, like a 4-inch pump. So I know they got Volvo 4-inch pumps and all kinds of, that was hard to say, Volvo 4-inch pumps, all kinds of other stuff. Pretty cool. Alright, we're back at it. It cooled down a little bit, so the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and just come in here and disconnect our plug, disconnect our fuel line now that the battery's been off for a while. It will leak a little bit. You guys might want to have get a rag or something in here, or a bucket. A lot of people recommend a bucket for when you pull your fuel pump out, you can pop it in there. But yep, I'm gonna get all that cleaned up a little bit, get it unplugged, undone. Then we got to make that specialty tool to get that weird bracket off. Alright, I got this plug off. So same scenario as that little clip we had up in the engine bay. Want to push the side of that in right there. That's how I got that off. And now I've dealt with these before on the fuel filter on this car. They have very similar ones, so I think we take the screwdriver and push in on that. Not too hard, but you want to make sure it's in the center, or that might be wrong. I think maybe it comes up and out. It goes one of the directions. I think maybe I push it down like we had it right here to that level, and then, oops, sorry you guys can't see, to that level right there, and then pull out on it. So I need 2 hands for that. Give me 1 second. Let me test my theory. Alright guys, I got that first hose off, and all I did was, I'll try to do the same thing on the second hose. All I did was push the little yellow tab in pretty well, and then I gave it a really good tug it took to get it off of there. This one's probably going to be stubborn. I wish I had a tripod that I could set up in here for you guys, but mine's way too tall. So try pushing it in that way, pushing down on that and pulling it out. That's exactly what I did on this. You got to give it a really hard tug to get it out of there, but don't yank like up or anything. Just make sure you're yanking straight back because you don't want to break that off. I mean, it doesn't really matter if we're replacing it, but still, like, you want to do it right, you know? Alright, so we got the second one off now too. This one, this was like really inconvenient because I had to push on the bottom of it and push up on it to get it out. So hopefully your hose isn't like in there like that, but it might be. So make sure you're pushing the right direction as well. And then it came off pretty easily. So now we got to get this ring off right here. And let's see, the other side's not really tight. Yeah, this side's on super tight too. Alright, so I'm going to try to make a makeshift tool like they got, and I'll let you guys know what I come up with. Alright guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm battling immense frustration right now. These plastic rings are so insanely tight, it's stupid. Like, take it to a shop or get the specialty tool. I lucked out and I happen to have this wrench that is like just the right size, so I have 2 bolts going through there with nuts on the bottom, and it's kind of holding it in place. I got it loosening. I got an oil filter wrench on top of that, a universal one, and then I got a bunch of extensions in this, and I'm twisting it, and I can't put enough on there with one hand. That's how tight these things are. I've already loosened it a bit. Let me hold you guys here. Alright, that was a lot of force right there to move it that far. So, you guys, this is ridiculous. I don't know why they're so tight, and I know the dirt is making it way worse, but you're going to deal with a lot of frustration. I'm very hot and bothered by this. It's annoying. But I'm going to bust it out, try to get this finished before it's pitch black outside. Alright guys, I'm chugging along now trying to get this done, but I want to show you real quick. I got this side open, and in here there was like the fuel sending unit like I thought there would be. There's an end right here, this little yellow guy. It's attached to this, and it just popped off on its own. I just unplugged that one little connector right here, and then this is free to pull out of that side right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out, pop the new one in. It's just the opposite of us taking it out, and I really gotta button everything back up and move this along. Alright everybody, welcome back. It's the next day, we're back in the car again. Dude, this took forever. Like, I could not get this done yesterday. But check this out. So I borrowed one of our specialty tools from work. Maybe I shouldn't be letting you guys see that, I don't know. But we call this a fish tape. We use this for getting wires through walls and stuff. So this is why I, like, 10 out of 10 do not recommend doing this, guys, because if you mess up and you do pull the hose out, you can. So the way you're supposed to do it is when you open this up, you're going to see this hose. It's going to be over here, and you're going to like tie a wire to it, something like this speaker wire right here. Tie something like that to it and leave it really long so that when you pull your hose through there, your wire goes with it. And then as soon as it comes out of there, don't keep pulling it all the way through. As soon as it comes out, untie it, so then your wire stays in here. So then you tie it back to that when you put your new one in, and you pull that out like I didn't do. That is what makes it easy. But if you guys screw up like I did, and it might happen, then it's going to be a real pain in the ass to get that through there, and you're going to have to borrow a special tool from work, and you guys probably don't work where I do. So yep, I'm going to go ahead and mess around over in that cavity over there, try to get my hand down in there a little bit and get a hold of this fish tape, pull it up and hook it onto that guy, because it's got a hook on the end of it. So I got to hook it on that, and I'm going to come over here and try to gently pull it through, because it's a super tight hole right about here. That's like the angle you got to hit it at. Or actually no, it was more like this, I guess. So we're going, like, if you're standing right at your rear tire, you're kind of looking up toward your passenger seat, like where it mounts over there. It's like probably that big. It's a really small hole. Alright, check it out, guys. I look like a nerd, but I was able to get it. Super sweet. I zip tied it to the hook. There's the hook. Just to be safe, I zip tied it. It does get really tight right around here, so be gentle, but I mean, you gotta get a good tugging. But be gentle, but rip on that shit, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the zip tie cut, get our little wire here plugged into our fuel level sender that I have sitting over here, and then I'll give her a test try and see if it starts. Alright, check this out, guys. With great finesse, I was able to get the fuel pump in there. So the last step is to put the plate back on and plug the battery back in, and we'll give it a test start.